Hey guys, what's going on? Bison here. Today I'm just going to be talking about Grimgar, Fantasy of the Ash. Now, obviously there's a lot of aspects to Grimgar that you can really go into, but today I just really want to talk about the subtle characterizations that the show offers and what, for me, was the biggest reason why I kept watching the show, because after watching the first three episodes, I actually really wanted to drop it. It just kind of moved a little slow for me. And I like slow shows, honestly. I think that's a great way to build characterization. Obviously, it worked very well for this show, but I didn't really find it to be anything too just out of the ordinary or different, basically. But fourth episode on, caught my attention and worked, and I'll tell you how that happened. So obviously in Grimgar, you got these characters who basically are dropped into this world that they aren't aware of. They have no recollection of their past. They gotta basically go fight and survive. And what I liked about the show right off the bat was how these characters were not very good at what they did. They weren't terrible by any means, but they really were unorganized. They wanted to work well with each other, but they couldn't because they just didn't have any chemistry. They weren't on the same page. And we get to see them grow throughout the whole entire series. So obviously, by the way, spoilers. There's a big death, episode 4, where Monato, the leader, he is the priest of the party, and he dies. And that was a huge death, and everyone's been through loss and grief. And that's a big theme, probably the biggest theme of the show, is dealing with the past. And that was hard for the group, obviously. It was shattering, it was heartbreaking, and it put Haruhio into the lead role as far as the party goes. And seeing him basically have to deal with that was very interesting to watch, because it's very realistic what he goes through. He wants to be able to be a great leader for the team. He wants to live up to their expectations. But at the same time, he just feels that he's not Monato. He's just not as strong as him. While he goes on, he realizes that Monato probably had. By the way, if I'm butchering these names, please don't obliterate me in the comment section. The Japanese, I'm not 100% familiar with these names. But he wants to live up to Monato's reputation, but he realizes that Monato probably had some inner struggles, inner conflicts of his own. But he didn't let anyone know, because he wanted to be that soldier for everyone to cry. And Haruhio struggles with that. He wants to be that shoulder for everyone to cry on, but feels that he's weak. He feels that he's not good enough. He feels the only reason they succeeded because they work together, which is the whole point. He realizes at the end that they got to work together, and that's what makes a team succeed. Not just off of one person, but the whole entire group becomes this one team that's able to prosper and do very well. And that's leads into basically what this show really does well, is are these nice moments between these characters. You got moments like, for example, Haruhio and Yumi, when after the death, she's kind of struggling a little bit, and she lies on his lap for a little. Very sweet, very nice. He realizes that, oh wow, she's going through something. In another moment when Ranta basically says that he feels like he's not being listened to, he realizes that these people obviously have feelings, but he's not really paying attention to their inner worlds per se. He's seeing what they're projecting outwards, but he's not really seeing the facade that what their projections are, and really going into who they are as people and how they feel, which is what a great leader does, is able to see what's going on with the people and really be able to kind of anticipate their needs are. Kind of subservient leadership, if you will. And he begins to go into that as well, so that was very nice to watch. Now, another great character was Ranta. It's very interesting because he's the dark knight of the group. He's very brash, impulsive, a little perverted, if you will, saying Yumi is flat-chested a lot throughout the series, obviously. And he likes to cause trouble by arguing with Haruhio. But really inside, he just wants to provide for the group. He wants to be seen as a leader. He wants to be respected. He kind of says as much. But he feels that he's just not going to get it. He feels that no one really is going to respect him, so he's kind of overcompensates by acting brash, like he doesn't need it, he doesn't care, and by being impulsive. But he's more of a guy that acts through his actions rather than likes to talk things out. He doesn't really want to have conversations, and you can see later on in the series when Haruhio kind of confronts Ranta about how he feels about him. Ranta really didn't want to talk about it, and he was forced into it. He doesn't really like to do that. He wants to be able to show people, this is how I feel, I'm going to act, this is how I feel about you guys. Which speaks volumes at the very end of the series. Obviously, he basically almost sacrifices his life for the team. That shows that, hey, he cares about them. He loves them. And they honestly realize at the end that, yeah, he may be a dick sometimes, but he loves them. And that's a lot of people. A lot of guys really they don't want to really have to kind of discuss their feelings. They just rather show it and rather take action and do it. And Ron says the great personification of that. But my favorite character really was Mary. Mary is a very interesting character because she joined the team after Monato's death, and she replaces him effectively as the priest of the party. Now she's very closed off to begin with, very cold. Seems uncaring, and it's kind of weird. You're wondering what's going on with her. It seems almost like it's kind of an atypical story, if you will, because what happens is that they find out that she was with a group, but she was actually very a lot like Monato, loving, caring, nice, great leader. But there was an incident that happened that some of her friends basically died. Not basically, they did die. And that caused her to become closed off. Because she didn't want to be able to go into the group, start to feel for people again, and lose them again and have to go through that pain all over again. And this was very well done. Because that's very relatable. Just think of it this way, you lose a friend. You lose some, not even just necessarily death, but they're gone for life. How hard is it to basically open yourself up back again to new experiences? Because you've been through it before, right? And you know how painful it is, and you just don't want to experience that pain again. But what you don't realize is that now that you experienced that pain before, you're not going to really experience that same kind of pain again. It's tough, though. It's very tough, and I felt this character was dealt with very well. This actually basically goes into Haruhito's growth. Because now he has to basically deal with her because she's very valuable. She's very talented. Probably the most skilled fighter and player on the team, of the party. But if she can't work with them, how are they going to succeed? Because they need to be in sync. They need to be copacetic. They need to basically work as a team. So he has to grow up as a leader and a person. A leader in the sense where he's got to be able to make them work together. But as a person, he's got to be able to understand what's going on with Mary and talk to her about it and make her open up. And that is a very hard thing to do. And he's able to do both very well. So this show is really just about dealing with grief and growing as a person through that grief and struggle. And not letting the past define you in different kind of ways and being able to look forward to the future. And basically, an argument against fatalism that you can control your destiny, in a sense. You can control where you're going, and you just got to keep pushing forward. Very positive message I really liked about the show. Very well done. Obviously, there's great artwork, great music, great acting from the Japanese actors as well. It's actually one of the few light novel manga adaptations that made me want to light novels. There's a lot of them. I think it's like 11 volumes and it's still going on. So I recommend watching the show. I give it an 8 out of 10 stars, honestly. Very well done show. Not a masterpiece, but very good. Deals with a lot of things that this type of show really doesn't usually deal with, what makes it unique. So give it a try. It's on Crunchyroll right now. Read the light novels if you want to. I'm going to check out some of them myself. So if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Or not if you don't. It's cool too. I'll see you next time.